Hello again. Now, in a world filled with different resource management, worker placement and deck building games, isn't it time to find something that just shows a bit of class? What we really enjoyed about this game is the way it put together several different elements of games that we loved. I wanted this game for over a year before I bought it and finally succeeded in bringing it to the table. So, without further ado, collect your spices, load up your camels and prepare to journey the Century Spice Road. Yes, this is a brilliant game designed by Emerson Matsushi, and it is fantastic. I mean, this game has so many different elements of games that we love put into one place. The set building element, the deck collecting element is great, the resource management element, great. In terms of the progression of strategy across the game, really, really good. The idea is you are basically a spice merchant in the good old tradition of most spice merchant trading games. So it's kind of the Middle East, it's in the Middle Ages, you're gathering various things, for example, like cardamom, saffron, cinnamon and turmeric. And basically you're trading in these resources at different places, trading them down with different merchant sellers, and this is how you make your valuable victory points, by taking the goods to different locations, fulfilling shipment orders, and gaining lots and lots of points. Sounds fairly straightforward? Well, there are lots of twists and turns, and it's very much about building an engine that works for you. In terms of the deck building element, you have lots of different values in terms of basically making resources more powerful, also trading down to get a bigger number of resources that might seem less valuable, but ultimately help you to keep your turns going. You always want to be able to do something, and the idea is what you manage to achieve will really run the power of your game. So, without further ado, I need to remind you to subscribe! Please, if you haven't already done so, click subscribe down there. Please follow us. We are trying to get ourselves out there. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Please just find us and support us as much as you can do. Right, that done. Great. We'd love to see more of you. We're getting much more outreach at the moment. So, let's look at the table view. Okay, Century Spice Road. Let's find out a little bit more what it's all about. First, I need to point out to this absolutely brilliant set of rules. It is literally one sheet of card. Lovely and efficient. The idea is that you have a set of 5 destinations laid out at the top of the board, which can be refilled each time. Each of these destinations requires certain different shipment orders of spice. For example, if you collect 2 turmeric and 3 cardamom and bring them to Egypt, you gain 11 points. Nice and straightforward. However, if you go to furthest China and bring 2 cinnamon and some cardamom, you gain more points. You get 18 points. As well as that, if you fulfill the first docket on the line, you get a bonus gold coin, which gives you a bonus 3 points. Very, very nice. If you get the second one on the line, you get a silver coin, which is worth an extra 1 point. And of course, the cards keep basically rolling down, so it's an incentive to clear the beginning of the line. Very, very good. Keeps the game moving. If you do not wish to fill out this turn, what you can do is you can basically look at the different ability traders here. So this is constantly replenished, and a big part of your first half of your game is going to be building cards, gaining your deck powers, and kind of fulfilling a good engine. So this basically means, how can you keep these resources going? Now, from yellow up to brown, which is turmeric, saffron, cardamom and cinnamon, you are basically trying to upgrade your spices to get the better, more valuable resources. For example, 5 cinnamon will win you a massive 20 victory points if you fulfill this order. Meanwhile, turmeric by themselves, not worth very much. So, you want basically ability to trade up. So, if you manage to have this card, for example, you could basically trade up 3 turmeric for a saffron and a cardamom. Rather nice. However, going down is also useful as well. So, for example, you could trade in a cinnamon for 2 cardamom. Generally, the rule is if you basically trade down, you get more and more and more tokens, up to a maximum of 10 you can place in your card at any one time. You can't have more than 10. That kind of shows it a little bit better. You can see the space where you can put on your spices. You're trying to basically get the best combination that will work for you on any given turn. Now, if, for example, on your turn, you would like this first card, absolutely fine. You just take it and add it to your starting cards. And everybody has 2 starting cards. The first one is basically gain 2 turmeric, nice and easy. And the second one is upgrade 2 spaces. So for example, you could turn a turmeric into a saffron. That would basically be 1 upgrade. Or you could turn a turmeric all the way up to a cardamom. So you can either basically take 2 separate dice, two separate cubes, and upgrade them 1 level each. Or you could just basically take 1 cube and upgrade it 2 levels. Nice and easy done. So everyone basically starts off with those 2 cards in the hand, and you keep adding extra cards in. So as I said, if you want this card, fantastic, great, you take it and add it to your hand. And all these move down 1, okay, and are replenished. However, if there's a card that you desperately want that isn't the front of the line, you must, in a similar way to Small World, kind of like pay off the other merchants to be able to get to the one that you want. For example, this is an excellent card to get. It upgrades levels 3 times. So if I have some spices here in my hand, for example, I might choose to basically pay 1 to this person. I'm sorry I don't want you because I really want this person because they're going to be really useful to me, and they move down. So as you can see, more and more spices are going to build up on cards that people might sadly just pass by. So say for example, if I wanted this one next, 4 yellow dice, 4 yellow cubes, I definitely want that one. So I'm just going to be paying out more resources there, so I can basically take that one and add it to my hand. Okay, so instead of taking a card in your turn, obviously you might wish to play a card in your turn. I might wish to play this card in order to get 4 yellow cubes. So I turn that over as it's used and take the cubes and add them to my playing deck. Obviously this means that as the games are going on, these cards are going to get depleted and get all turned over. So instead, for example, of either drawing another card or playing a card, you may wish to refresh your hand, which is to turn them all the right way up again. All is well, and your game keeps going on. Obviously, when to do that is a massive strategy point. You might be able to get by, especially if you have a lot of cards going on for quite a while before refreshing. However, if there are certain of your cards that you desperately want, you will find that refreshing more earlier is a good strategy idea. And again, finding that balance is what really makes the game's strength, especially when you consider that all the other players are going to be in the same position. They're going to be drawing their own hands, fulfilling their whole engines, and when you rest, you basically have a dead turn. So it gives other people a chance to jump ahead of you. So you don't want to rest too often, obviously, which is why you want a nice wealth of different variety powers. And trading up and trading down, super important. Obviously, if you have the right resources on your card at the end of 1 turn, you may wish to trade them in for one of the victory cards. These basically range from about 4 or 5 points all the way up to 20. So this is probably the top card in the game within 5 cubes, but also more or fewer cubes will require more or fewer points, etc, etc, etc. Really self-explanatory. So, for example, in this go, I might want to hold out for an 18. However, if I have this amount of points, and I can grab an extra 3-point coin, that's worth 17 points, and that's going to be a lot easier to collect than this is. So, it's all balancing. Obviously, if I can get 20 all the way down to here, that will be fantastic, but you've really got to kind of balance what's going to be the right decision at that point for you. So again, more strategy, longer strategy. You do play to a certain point. For example, when, let's have a look, the game ends. Once a player has taken his 5th point card or 6th in a 2 to 3 play game, the game will end after players finish out the current round of play. So it's not one of those games where as soon as one person hits the final victory token, the game ends. Everyone else gets like one more turn to kind of like catch up if they can do. So there's a nice last chance at the end to snatch victory. But the game does play exceptionally well. What we basically find is that the first half of the game is all about just grabbing the cards that are going to help you, After an initial period of that, we do tend to focus on just purely going for the right resources, especially considering once thieves are gone that they don't get replaced. So getting those gold coins is a really big motivator. And of course the silver coins as well. Then it kind of settles down into a good period for us where we don't really get that many cards, except when certain special cards, such as this one, pop up because they're super desirable. And you just kind of focus on building your resources, upgrading your resources, and just going for the victory cards. If you find out that somebody is kind of very, very close to finishing, you might wish to take a point value card that's less, just to get like your 5th or 6th card and kind of force the game to an end earlier on. If you think that if you wait around too long, someone's going to end up with a bigger card than you do. So knowing when to deliberately end the game is also a factor. Overall, this is a game we've played lots of times, and we keep finding new ways to play it. There are certain sort of tips and tricks that we find. I tend to find that most of my game revolves around having the green cubes, the cardamom, because basically that's the sticking point before you move it up into the cinnamon. But there's a lot of cards that either go up to green or down from green, and you want a good variety. You tend to find that if you have cards that are only upgrades, you get stuck. And if you have downgrades, you get stuck. You need both. There are certain cards that just give you straight out those values, which are always really useful because they're considered an upgrade of your basic ones. There's only one of these cards, which is basically an upgrade of those ones, and you get the idea. So there's enough of mixture, so many cards here, that you will have game after game after game, and each game will feel different, and you'll try out different strategies on different games. So there is a lot to be recommended for Century Spice Road. So let's wrap this up with our final thoughts. So, Century Spice Road, what do we think? Well, heart to heart, this is an absolutely fantastic deck building game. I know that we reviewed Dominion a little while ago, but this, in our opinion, is, well, I hesitate to say better. Dominion is a great game, but this is a brilliant deck building game. If you like the theme of spice trading, it's there. If you like the idea of upgrading resources, it's there. It kind of combines the best elements of a deck building game with the best elements of a resource management game. And it's relatively quick and simple to play. I mean, a game like this will set you back approximately half an hour, 45 minutes, so it's not a huge and enormous game. Obviously, with fewer or larger number of players, it will basically increase or decrease, but there is a lot here to enjoy. The component quality is fantastic. These coins are absolutely lovely. They even come with beautiful little sort of pots to keep your dice in. I mean, keep your cubes in. This is a lot of thought going into a really, really well-made game. They've done the job really, really well. Yes, I know there is Gollum Edition. Yes, I know there is basically the expanded range of these as the full range. Hopefully you'll be able to give a chance to try those out as well. We find personally that this is the best game, the first one in the set. So in terms of where to start, Century Spice Road is a great point to basically begin your journey into deck building if you don't want to go back as far back as Dominion, for example. We're having lots of fun in this again and again and again. Really, really great recommendations, so please do check it out. It plays really, really well for 2 players. It plays great for 4 players, 3 players as well. Fantastic. We haven't tried it with 5 more players, but to be honest, 4 is plenty. So please do check out this game, and please do find us on social media. We're available on our webpage, rogueartistcreations.com. We're on Facebook, at Rogue Artist Creations. Twitter is Rogue A Creations. We're relatively new on Instagram, but please find us there at Rogue Artist Creations as well. And you can find me at gmfirst@rogueartistcreations.com via email. Please do subscribe, please keep contact with us, and keep the games coming. Any good recommendations, we'd love to be part of them. Please recommend us to friends. We know we're still getting out there, but we'd love to be part of your daily gaming routine. Thank you very much. See you next time.